And what are you complaining about this morning?
All right, Rabbi Isai. Today, good morning.
I'm all excited today. I thought he wanted to soak his toe or something.
This morning, who's going to be? Oh, Yosef, you're the official video guy when we get a little. Today's Daf Mem Tes. We're holding right where we need to hold.
Very excited.
It says in the Mishnah of Bnei Sha'amru, it says the concept twice that you cannot have Simonim Elyonim before Tachtoin, and you could have Tachtoin before Elyon. It repeats itself. Says the Gemara, Hosu Lamali, why does the Mishnah finish off like that? Hatana Le'Reisha. It says it already. If you want to tell me that Allah is like Rabbanon, that it's Efshar Elyon Bli Tachtoin. In other words, if you see a Siman Elyon, you know for a fact that there's a Siman Tachtoin. Even if you did Bdika and you don't find the Siman Tachtoin, it means that it was lost. Pshita Yochad V'Rabim Aloch Kirabim. Mao the same on Mistaber time of the Rebbe Meir. The Komisayli Kroi. Remember, we brought two psukim in Rebbe Meir's favor. Shadayich Nechoinu, Sorech Tzimech. It seems like that. The Gemara said, okay, you could be doichekid if you, but the pasuk pshat in the pasuk is first comes Elyon, then comes Tachtoin. So in Mela he wanted to emphasize the fact that Allah is not like Remeir. While the same is the Remeir, comes Saili Kro, Kamash Malon, that not Allah is still like Rabbanon the Rabbim. Now we're going to start a whole series of Mishnayos that work with the same theme. It's going to take us on a wild ride through Shas. The theme is that it's possible to have A without B, but it's impossible to have B without A. It's possible to have a Tachtoin without Elyon, but it's impossible to have Elyon without Tachtoin. Kayoytze boy, the Mishnah finishes off the theme and starts this new Mishnah. There's no connection to Niddah with the same idea. Kayotze boy, kol kli cheres shu machnis moitzi. We're going to have many mishnayos going from peya to all sorts of halachas. Tumas meis, dayanim, all sorts of things. We're going to come across a lot of yisoidas, built up by yisoidas. Our yediyas hashas. Kol kli cheres shu machnis moitzi. If a vessel takes on water, then it must be that water could leave it. If it could come in, it could go out. There's a vessel, the hole is so small that water will come out of it, but you can't get water into it. We're going to demonstrate in a second. And what is it Nagel Halacha? The Gemara is going to say, it's mamish exciting stuff. Why? Because look at this daf. Menachem says, it's not about the Yomi, it's about the Daf, Menachem says. I say fakert. Kol Aver. So in other words, it's possible to have A, that means water goes out without B, the water comes in, but it's impossible to have B, the water comes in, without A, without water going out. Kol Aver. Any limb that has a nail, we're discussing fingers. A finger that has a nail to it, it has a bone. We're not just talking about fingers. We're talking about an extra digit. If somebody has an extra finger, whether or not it's considered a limb for tumah. So if it has a fingernail, then you know that it has a bone and it's considered a limb. But just because it has a bone, it doesn't mean it has a nail, and therefore it's not a limb. In certain cases. Even if there's no kezayis flesh. There's such a thing as a finger with a bone, but without a nail. Kol hametame medris. All this the Gemara is going to explain. Kol hametame medris, metama tmeimes. If you have an avatuma of medris, that is a zov that sits on anything, a kli, it becomes avatuma called medrash because the fact that the zav sat on it, it automatically means that kli can is susceptible to tuma of a mace. Tumas mace, one avatuma to the other avatuma. The yeshim etama tmei mace, v'edem etama medrash. But it's possible that if a mace touches a kli, the kli is good enough to be metama tumas mace, but not good enough, so to speak, to be metama tumas medrash, and we're going to discuss that as well. Says the Gemara, machnis pasul lemei chatos. If a kli can take on water, then it becomes pasul lemei chatos. So it goes like this. Oh, I did some research before I came to share this morning. You have a machnis and a moitzi. You see the difference in the holes? You can't really see. There is a pinhole here. Where's water? I need some water. No, that's not good water. Give me some fresh water. Shkoyach. First I need to take it. No, I'm not going to take a drink. Check this out. Look at this. We're going to go like this. Here, I need some video. You see the drip, Rabbi Isai? This is not good for us, this drip, because it's dripping too much. However, this drip, okay, here's a drip. Now, oh, gewaldig. This is a moitzi. Now, if I were to take water and go like this on the other side, nothing goes in. You see, it stays on the top. It's not dripping. It's a moitzi, but not a machnes. The hole is too small for the water to come in. So that's that. Now, this kli right over here, in the time of the Gemara, was we have it good. We have plastic cups, everything's gewaldig. In those days, a kli was very valuable. It took a long time to make. So if it had a tiny hole like that, garnished, you keep on going. You keep on using it. You're not going to throw it out. So this kli that was a moitzi is kosher l'mei chatos. If it's made out of earthenware, so that's a whole different niddah in earthenware, not earthenware because there's a takonis chacham, you should make it out of stone. But the rice, it's mutter to use earthenware. So even though it has a small hole that's moitzi, since it's not machnes, I just demonstrated it's not machnes. So this is kosher l'mei chatos. I can use this for mei chatos. This guy has a slightly larger hole. So check this out. If I go like this, you see, it's empty. It doesn't have any water. If I go like this, maybe, if I'm lucky. Oh.
It's happening?
Yeah. I push it down. I'm forcing it out. Yesterday I did it. It was a little better. But I'll go upon him. The force, by me pushing it, it causes the water to come in. So that's a machnes according to the Tanna Kama. Why? Because I just pushed it in, water came from the outside into the inside. How? I put the kli in. But lamaisa, if you take a look at it, it's because I put the pressure on. Only because I put pressure downwards, that pressure of me forcing the kli into the water goes in. But naturally it wouldn't go in. Because if I turned this cup over and did the same trick as I did before, and I went like this, water would not go in. See? It's holding the water very nicely in the same exact hole that went before. So that shows that the pressure caused the water to come in. Yeah?
Yeah.
Here, it came in, gewaldig, from the pressure. Moedik, huh? Usually we don't have time for this, but because the Amid...
Could you show it again once?
I don't know if Yosef took a good video of this. Oh, it's on? Gewaldig. You missed the science fair project. Yeah, you can watch it on the video. Machnes pasul lemechatos upasul mishum gistera. It was funny. Last night I came home. I said, "Wow, perfect." There's a table right in front of my apartment. And on the table, there's a broken vase, kli cheres, mamashin. So I said, tomorrow I'm going to chop a piece. I come this morning, it's gone. So I wanted to have a piece of cheres. That's a gister, a piece of cheres. So let's say that this is a piece of cheres. Sorry, Avrami. Not into water. This is a broken kli. See, mamish, a broken kli. It should be broken. No revayim. If I have a small hole in my cup, like I do, so what do? I take my broken piece of cheres, and I place it underneath it. And this piece of cheres catches my oil or whatever I have here, my important stuff. Now, what if, so this kli is still kosher. By the way, in order to passel this kli completely, there's a bunch of shiurim, it's not so pashut. You have a shear of a root, of a kezayis Rashi brings, of a rimoin, up to pomegranate. That's the worst. If it has a hole this big, then everybody agrees you get rid of it. But we're talking about a kli that's made for water, to hold wine. So to hold wine is a problem. So if it has a needle, like we just showed, it's still kosher. The gistera, again, what's a gistera? A piece of broken cheres is still tamei. Why? Because I can use it to catch my water. But what if that gistera has a hole in it? Then it's not tamei anymore. Why? Because I'm not using a gistera that can't accomplish anything. The whole point of my gistera is that it can accomplish to catch water from a kli that has a small hole. But if it itself has a small hole, so it's going to also drip out, so I'm going to need a gistera to a gistera. So what's the point of having a gistera? So if it only has a hole small enough that water comes out, then it's still kosher for mechatos. Upasul mishum gistera, but it's pasul for a piece of cheres. Omer Ravasi shoinin. We learned halacha Moshe Messina, says Rashi, kli cheres shiyuroi bekoines mashka, in order to be mevatalit for mechatos, not just a kli. Because a kli, sometimes you need a kezayis, sometimes you need a rimoin. But for mechatos, or sometimes even this shear is mevatalit if it's made for mashka. Kli cheres shiyuroi bekoines mashka. It's not enough to have this shear of moitzi. You need to have this guy, the machnes guy. The machnes guy, as I demonstrated, since water comes into it, then it becomes pasul for mechatos. And this moitzi mashka is able to pasul a gistera, a shard of cheres, because it serves no purpose. My time of Nachman, what's the whole purpose of the gistera, the piece of the broken piece? To catch water. If it has a small hole, it doesn't catch water anymore. It leaks also. So what's the point? Throw it out. Once you throw it out, then it's not mekabel tumah. Ton Rabbanon. What's the science behind this? By the way, lahalacha, if a netilas yadayim kli has a hole the size of koinas, machnes, then it's possible for netilas yadayim. That's the taz. What? Very, very small. Now, we're going to see in a second how small it is. My little science thing is not accurate. I'll show you why. Yovi, how do you check it? Yovi areva malei mayim. Here, you bring a bowl full of water. It doesn't say imroitze yovi. It says yovi. You mechuyev to bring it. As I state.
Could you show us again how to
I will demonstrate again. Especially that's only 7:30 now. Yovi areva malei mayim v'noising deir l'toicha. And then you take your cup and you put it inside. Im konsa, if water goes into it, b'yadua shekoines mashka, then you know that you're holding by the shear of taking on water. Reb Chaim, I was wondering about Reb Chaim. Were you out of town? Seriously. I didn't see you. Not by Mincha, not by Ma'ariv garnished. Okay, I missed you. In konsa b'yadua shekoines mashka. If water doesn't go in, but there's still a hole, so you know that you're stuck with the shear of moitzi mashka and not machnes mashka. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, turn the page, Mem Tesam Beis. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, koifef ozne gedeira letoicho matzif oleomayim. Zok the Gemara, it's not enough Here, we need some water. Here, it's fine. Say it. Says Rabbi Yehuda, you take a cup. You put it into empty, not like I have here. You put it into empty bowl of water upside down, and then you pour it on top. You see that there's water on top here?
Yeah.
Why is it not going? The hole sealed. The hole sealed itself overnight.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Bekitzer.
Oh, is water coming out?
It's Nisim. It's coming from the sides maybe.
No, there's no water.
Akaponim, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is not good. What he's saying is failed science project.
Oh, man.
No, we have to open it up a little bit. Here we go. Oh, it does.
Now it's okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, you don't even have to do it. No. The mamish heel. Oh, you know what did? The water closed up the hole a little bit.
Make a real hole.
No, but if you make a real hole, then it's mamish cheating.
It's fine.
Okay, the kitzur, we'll figure it out after this year.
Oh, now it's working. All right. Still no. No, it's working.
Yeah, you can see.
Do.
Oi. For that, don't worry about it. Oh, look, I came all prepared. Fine. He says you flip over the cup like this, upside down, and you start pouring water. In other words, what he's saying is no pressure. No, if you put you missed it. If you put here's the machnas one. You put a cup and you force it downwards. You weren't here, so I'll do it again because it's so cool. You force it into it, water's going to come in. It's mamish filling up Givaldic. But that doesn't count because it's too much pressure. Here, you see? It's full of water. From a small hole you can't even see. This is a much larger hole, and still we're having trouble getting water into it without pressure. As I said, we want a hole that's large enough that without forcing it, water comes in. Okay, great. You flip it over, and you start filling up with water. It's just hard to do the Gemara's experiment because you're putting the water in a vessel that has no water. You have to seal the bottom, in other words, and you have to pour water on it. Then you have to get rid of all the water and then unlock the cup and see if there's any water inside. You're talking about a kli cheres. It's not see-through. How exactly are you going to see that there's water inside? Whatever. It's a little hard. You have to seal it with silicone, get rid of all the water, and then undo the silicone and then pop it up and see if water went in through that hole. Fine. So if water goes into it, so you know that it takes on water. If water doesn't go into it, so you know that it doesn't take on water, but it could let water out.
So breaking a kli cheres, your truma is not enough.
Huh?
Breaking a kli cheres.
You're talking about before, about the gistera?
No, without a gistra, just a kli cheres. It came truma, we learned if you break it and it loses its truma.
Right. We're talking about a small little hole now.
So, but what I'm saying is that even without a hole, it seems.
You're talking about a piece of gistera. A shard of cheres that could receive, and it has a certain shear, that doesn't lose its tumah because it still has a purpose, a function, as long as it has a function. It depends how big the piece is. That's the whole difference. So that's a mishnah. It's a mefurish mishnah, holding oil, not holding oil, that sort of thing, and what size kli it came from.
Why should it be a duo that's motzi mayim? That's not. Maybe it holds too small.
No. So it means that we're talking about, good question. We're talking about that you saw that water, it's losing water. That you know. Obviously, if you don't know that, then you don't know that. It's not showing you that it's going to take. If you have a kli that water comes out of it, so you do this test. If water goes in, then you know it also comes in. If not, you know it just comes out. That's what it means. Here, same question you can have in a second. Or you take this kli, you take this vessel, you put it on top of a fire. If the fire, the heat, stops the water from coming out, then you know that all you have is a moitzi mashka. Now, Rachamim just asked, but it's not moitzi mashka. The fire stopped it. Well, the answer is that a minute ago it was moitzi mashka, and you stopped it now. V'imlav b'yidua shemachnes mashke. And if it continues to drip out through the fire, through the heat, then you know you're dealing with a large enough hole that is machnes mashke. And machnes mashke, we said, is mevatel the kli. Is mevatel for paraduma, at least for paraduma. Mechatos. Rabbi Yossi Omer, after shoyfsa agabi ur, putting it on fire is not fair, it's too hot. That you'll definitely close up a smaller hole. You take coals and ashes. It's a lower temperature, and if that kind of temperature could stop it, then you know that it's not machnes, it's only moitzi, v'imlav, but if the water keeps on dripping out, now, here's the problem with my science experiment. I showed you that this guy is moitzi mashka. Where was it? Right over here. But it's not machnes. Where is it? No, he's not. No, this guy's also not moitzi now. Oh, here it is. Look at this. It's tipo after tipo. The Gemara says that this is considered machnes. I wasn't able to get water into it. But the Gemara says since it's drip after drip after drip, that shows me that we're dealing with a machnes mashke as well. It's large enough that water could come in from the outside. I wasn't able to demonstrate that, but the Gemara says that's large enough. Vidua shekoinis mashke. Ma'ikib ben Tana Kamal Rabbi Yehuda. This we already explained. Omar Ulo kinus haydei atchake kebenayu. Rabbi Yehuda says that a kli that you have to force the water in by pushing it downwards into water, that's not koinis mashke, and it's still kosher for mechatos. And Tanakama says that is considered machnes mashke, memela it's puzzle for a chatos. Yosef, how many minutes do we have left? Call Aver Shesh B'Tziporin. No, it seems like it's everybody agrees. That's a shir. But who says machlekes? No, madamer. B'yadua shekonis mashke. You should know that it's konis mashke. Fine. Next halacha. Call Aver Shesh B'Tziporin. Now, we have more yisoidus, you walk away with more stuff. If you have a piece of basar that's a kazayis, it's metame ba'oil. Anything in the room becomes tummy. If you have an etzem kisa'ira, a small bone, is not metame ba'oil. It's metame b'magu b'masa. In order for for bone to be tummy, you have to have a half of tarkov, or most of the binyan of the bones, like most of the skeleton. We're talking about a bone. A bone by itself is not metama. An aver, a full-fledged limb, is metama. So the question is, what is this funny-looking thing growing out of a guy's palm? Is it an aver? Is it not an aver? Says the Gemara, Yesh bo tziporen metama b'magu b'masa u'ba'oil. If this limb, this extra digit, has a nail on it, then you know that it's a full-fledged limb and it has all three tumas, even oil. Yesh bo etzem ve'en bo tziporen. If it doesn't have a nail, then it's not a full-fledged limb. Metame b'magu b'masa, only by touching. Ve'en metame b'oil, it doesn't have the severe tumah of oil. Omer Rav Chizda, Dova ze Rabbeinu HaGadol Amoroi. Rabbeinu HaGadol was Rav Chizda's Rebbe's Rebbe, which was Rav. Hamokum yeh be'ezra, because Baruch Hu should help him. I'm assuming Rav was really old then, because it's his Rebbe's Rebbe. Etz ba yiseiro sheyesh bo etzem ve'en bo tziporen mitame b'magu b'maso ve'en mitame b'oil. So Rav explained the Mishnah. We're talking about an extra finger, and that's why it's not considered a limb if it doesn't have a nail. And we'll explain. In other words, if the extra finger is in line with the other fingers, so then it's another limb. Okay, so a guy has 6 fingers instead of 5. That's a limb, l'kol davar. So even if it doesn't have a nail, it's still a limb, it's still a finger, and it's metame ba'oil. However, if the finger comes out of here, it comes out over here, so memela, now I need to look at it and examine it. Does it have a nail or not? If it has a nail, says the Mishnah, it for sure has a bone. then it's a limb. But if it has a bone without a nail, it's not a limb. So that's, you could have A without B, but you can have B without A. That's in the same. It's not in line. It's not in line with the rest of the fingers. It's coming out of somewhere else.
You can have a bone without a nail.
I actually know a person.
Without a bone.
What?
You can have a bone without a nail.
You can have a bone without a nail. We can have a nail without a bone.
6 fingers.
What?
I had a relative.
I know.
Was born with 6
I know a person like that also. Great person. Born with 6. A month later, it took her to take it off. Nobody knows. Nobody will ever know.
No, but it's a girl.
What do you say?
It's a girl.
Okay.
She's a girl.
Zok the Gemara. Yossi, you have to make sure that there's battery going.
Eli, does it make a difference?
Can't be Italian?
If it's
Can't be
just one
Italian?
bone,
Really?
sticking
That's a
out without
tradition.
nail, does it make a difference? It doesn't.
One bone without a nail?
One bone.
No, it's not a limb. It's not a limb.
That's
A
very
split
interesting.
thumb, one bone, the thumb changes.
Right, I think that's what it was also by my case, yeah?
Very interesting.
That would be a.
So does it have a nail or not have a nail?
Has a nail.
It had a nail?
Yeah.
Then it's a limb. That's what we're saying. It has a nail, that means it has a bone, and then it's a limb. Then it doesn't need a shear of a kazayis in this. It's a limb. It's a digit. It's extra, it's a little weird, but it's a full limb. Even, by the way, check this out. When they remove it in the hospital, it's matama the hospital. Because a living limb, a limb from a living person is still a limb. It's still matama.
What do they do with it? They bury it?
Yeah, they have to, I don't know, you can't throw it in the garbage. It's matama. Call, what? Yeah, it's chayik food.
Really?
Yeah,
They have
it's a
like
limb.
basic forest for like
The matseim is larger than the.
He's only a Jew.
I unfortunately I had a bee at the here in Eretz Yisrael in Hadassah. There was a baby that was nifter, and I was there, and they opened up the thing, and it says like finger, foot, there's like little packages there. I guess the Chaver Kedisha comes and takes them all, and buries them like somewhere. I don't know.
what happened to the baby?
This baby was nifter, so I went to get the baby from the. Next to the baby, there was other packages from other surgeries, from other things. It was terrible to see. And they don't throw it out. That's what I'm saying. It's there. It's waiting for the Chaver Kedisha. Okay, you could erase that. It's not Kedai. All right, call whoever got through to this part of the shir, fine. Call him Metame Medris. Call the Chazi Lemedris Metame Tmei Meis. Says the Mishnah that if you have, let's say, a chair that you sit on and a medris sits on it, a zov sits on it, special tumah called medris, that a zov sits on it, walks on it, it becomes tomei tumas zov, it becomes an avat tumah. It's a tremendous tumah. That kind of kli, if a dead person touches it, will certainly become tomei, but not reverse. You have A that becomes B, but B doesn't become A. You have a kli that only a dead person that touches it, it becomes avat tumah. But if a zav sits on it, it doesn't become tamei at all. What is this kli? Lasuyi mai lasuyi sav tarkov. Here, this. Let's say, okay, this is a tarkov. Tarkov is a lashon of trei kav. 2 plus 1, not 2 kav, but trei and a kav, because a saw is 6 kav. So a tarkov is a half a saw, which is 3. Trei, kav. Anyways, lo mishaneh, whatever the shear is, let's say this is a tarkov. I use this is my pail, this is where I mix my cement in. Comes a zav, flips it over, and sits down on it. He made it into a chair. Now, why was this designed? Why was this created, this kli? This kli was not created to sit on. This kli was created to mix my cement, to do my other things in it. So memela, if the zav sits on it, if people look at him and tell him, what are you doing? Why are you sitting on it? I need to go to work. I need to mix my cement. Then it's not a chair. A chair is if the zav sits on it and nobody tells him anything because that's normal. That's its normal usage. Says the Gemara, I would think that you flip over a pail, or or a half a pail, or a half a shear of a pail. You see the pasuk? It doesn't say asher yoshav. The pasuk should have said if the zav sat on it. That's not what the pasuk says. Asher yeshiv in the future. It's meant for sitting, and this kli is not meant for sitting. Therefore, Mishim yuchad liyeshiva. Yotza zeh sho'imrim le'amoid. What does it mean, oimrim le'amoid? In other words, it wasn't made. If it wasn't created for that, then it doesn't attain this tumas medris. Yet, it attains tumas meis. So I have a situation where A becomes B, but B doesn't become A. It can become Tomei Tumas Meis, but it cannot become Tumas Zav. But anything that's Tomei Tumas Zav becomes Tumas Meis. Now let me ask you a question. Rabbi Isai, think about this for a second, besides Rabbi Schoenberg, who already looked inside the art scroll, I think. What if the Zav sat on this pail? What happens to the pail? Is it Tomei or not Tomei? We said it's not Tomei Tumas Medris because it's not made for sitting. But he's a Zav and he touched it. Is it Tomei or not? Zogt Rashi that it's Tomei Tumas Rishon. It becomes a Tomei Tumas Rishon. Which is amazing because this Zav is wearing his pants, I'm hoping, when he sat on it. And he didn't touch it with his body. Nevertheless, it becomes Tomei Tumas Rishon. It's not so pashut. Not everybody agrees to Rashi, I don't think. Akopanim, that's what Rashi says. But Tmei mem Tumas Maga Hazov Liyos Rishonim, says Rashi. It becomes Tomei or Rishon. Zok the Mishnah, Kol Haroyu Ladoim Dinin Nefashos. If you're on the Supreme Court, like Barak's sister, where is Barak? He's not here today. Okay.
She's not on the Supreme Court.
She's a Supreme Justice.
Supreme Court of America.
In New York. In New York State.
Son is Satan.
She's a justice. She could be Dan Dinei Nefashos, I'm assuming. In New York. Not al Pitoira, because whatever. So certainly it's like Avachaimer, if you could do capital punishment, you could talk about, you could give a person a fine. But there are people who could do the opposite, who could do B but can't do A. They could do Mamanis, they can't do Nefashis. What is this coming to say? That when it comes to Sanhedrin that do din in Nefashis, says Rashi, it says in the pasuk, Kulach Yafer Ayasi. What's the end of the pasuk? Mum ein bach. You're not allowed to have a mum in Sanhedrin. So if you're a mamzer, you're off the Sanhedrin. However, you, the mamzer, could be on the lower court and be done din in Mamanis. We already learned this Mishnah. Now, what's the obvious question to this question of the Gemara? Chaim, what's the question? You would have this in a second. The Gemara has a question. Oh, we already learned this Mishnah in Sanhedrin. It says, You don't need to be done for the Go into arbitration, 3 people. No. 3 Jews. The Gemara is asking that it's a double Mishnah. We don't need this Mishnah. So what's shver? When I read it, I didn't understand the Gemara's kasha. It didn't make any sense to me. You know why? Because all these Mishnayos don't have to, it's a theme. We're bringing Mishnah after Mishnah because it's the same thing. A could be B, but B doesn't have to be A. It doesn't mean that we need this Mishnah. Taisus asked the question. My kushio, kama klolis tomim asnisin, avgazan v'duchta. Koshu chayiv pei chayiv meisav, sheminim asnisin. In other words, Kitzer, all the Mishnayos, the things we have, it's just a thing, we're bringing a theme. So Taisa says, the Gemara's question is on this part. Why do we need Rav Yehuda, Taisa says? The Rav Yehuda says, Lasui Mamzer and all this stuff. That we don't need twice. In that Mishnah we learned, Lasui Mamzer. So why do we need it twice? Even a ger could do mamanis, but cannot do nefashos. That was a big chiddush to me. A ger cannot be on the Sanhedrin. Utzrichi, the Ashminin ger mishum deroy lava bekahol. A ger can marry anybody in Klal Yisrael. Ava mamzer, the deroy lava bekahol, he can't marry anybody emeloi. The Ashminin mamzer mishum dekasim etibik sheira. At the end of the day, his parents are Jewish. Ava ger dekasim etibik psula emeloi tzricha. Therefore, we need both of them. Have a wonderful Gavaldik day. Enjoy your vacation. Tomorrow is also pretty good. Or we could go weiter. Anybody wants to go weiter? We go weiter.
Everybody got up. I think we should do this again. This whole.
We did it 3 times. I did it for Mr. Huh? Comes from a Tipik Shera. Oh.
Charge up your phone for tomorrow.
Meanwhile, I think I'm going, but I'm not sure. Oh, we got to talk about your thing.
Yeah.